never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me. Yeah, wait, I think I'll last a bit longer.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. How much longer can he wrestle? We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes, but first, let me tell you where I'm going to be this weekend. Saturday night, I'm going to be at 405 Community Court in Monroe, Georgia for Southern Fried Championship Wrestling. The show this Saturday night at 405 Community Court in Monroe, Georgia is called Crossroads. We have 8 matches on the card. Javier Reyes goes one-on-one with David Ali. Seth DeLay makes his in-ring return, going one-on-one with Naja Sism. Danny Only is in a one-on-one grudge match with Alexander Lev. We've got a fatal 4-way for the Southern Fried Classics Championship. Nick Halen puts his Classics title on the line against his approved teammate Adrian Hawkins, also the Kenway and Tyler Stevens. Jacob Ashworth and Jaden Vane are in a tag team match against the other 2 members of the approved, Rob Adonis and Bobby Moore. Ladies tag team match, Brooklyn and Crystal Rose take it on the team of Jazzy Yang and Kat Spencer. Happy Madness versus the Grapplers for the Southern Fried Tag Team Championships. And Hunter James puts his Southern Fried Heavyweight title on the line against Judas and CT Keys in a triple threat match. All that takes place Saturday night at 405 Community Court in Monroe, Georgia. Doors open at 6 o'clock and bell time will be 7 o'clock. And then Sunday afternoon, doors open at 4 o'clock. Bell time will be 4:30 at 6687 Highway 72 West Colbert, Georgia. And the UWF show this Sunday will be called Marketable because on the card is MLW wrestling superstar Richard Holiday, who is the marketable Richard Holiday. He'll be in the main event going one-on-one with the man who travels the world. He recently just went to Colorado to wrestle. He also goes to Puerto Rico every month to wrestle. That is Curtis Coleman. So we'll have Richard Holiday versus Curtis Coleman in the main event. Richard Holiday is actually going to do a seminar before the show for all the up-and-coming wrestlers that want to get better. Then we're going to have Nick Halen versus AJ Black for the UWF Heavyweight Championship. Tag team match, Summit Fight Club versus Better Together. Tag team match, Marcus Adams and Braden Matthews versus Stevie Ray Frost and Caleb Crocker. Then we're going to have a match. It's former best friends, now bitter enemies, going one-on-one. Eli Smiles versus Jaden Vane. And the UWF Heritage title will be on the line as the UWF Heritage Champion, the Radical, DC Washington, puts his title on the line against Jacob Ashworth. All that and more takes place Sunday afternoon. Doors open at 4 o'clock. Bell time will be 4:30 at 6687 Highway 72 West Colbert, Georgia. But I started out the video by asking how much longer can he wrestle. So let's go more in depth about that. Sunday night, AEW had Wrestle Dream, which took place at the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. Now, there was 4 matches on the pre-show, which they call 0 Hour, but I'm not going to mention those, just the main card. We had 9 matches on the main card. MJF, by himself, defeated The Righteous to retain the Ring of Honor tag team titles, and MJF was alone because his tag team partner is Adam Cole, baby, who is actually injured and is out for the foreseeable future, so MJF had to defend the titles by himself. Eddie Kingston defeated Katsuyori Shibata to retain the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Chris Statlander beat Julia Hart to retain the TBS Championship. The Young Bucks beat the Guns, the Lucha Brothers, and Orange Cassidy and Hook in a fatal 4-way tag team match to become the #1 contenders for the AEW tag team titles. Swerve Strickland beat Hangman Adam Page. Ricky Starks beat Wheeler Yuta. Trios match. The Don Callis family beat Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi. FTR beat the Aussie Open for the AEW World Tag Team titles. And in the main event, Christian Cage beat Darby Allin in a 2 out of 3 falls match to retain the TNT Championship. And after the match was the AEW debut of the Rated R Superstar, Adam Copeland. Now, WWE only owns the name Edge. They do not own the Rated R Superstar, and they do not own the music. So he still has the Rated R Superstar in his name, and he still has the same exact music. The only thing that changed is he's now going by his real name, Adam Copeland. And since they already said that, I don't think they're going to change it. Now, he says he wants to use his real name, and he might as well, because the man's going to be 50 years old later on this month. And as long as he's been around this day and time with social media and Google like it is, everybody knows his real name anyway. But usually somebody like Edge, that's been around as long as he has, that's made a name for themselves as one name, will either use another name or keep using the same name. In this case, he can't use the same name, but it is odd that he's going by his real name. He needs to go back to being Sexton Hardcastle. And yes, that is a name that Adam Copeland used about 30 years ago for a short time in the wrestling business, but Sexton Hardcastle is a amazing name. A lot of folks are surprised by him going there. As I said earlier, he's 50 years old later on this month, so we don't know how much longer he'll wrestle, and he'll wrestle healthy. Now, I do know that he signed a 2-year deal. He's going to wrestle pretty much full time for those 2 years. But the question is he going to be healthy the whole time for those 2 years? Because yes, your contract might say you're going to wrestle full time for 2 years, but if you go out there next month and you get hurt and you're out 6 months, well, obviously that can't happen. So hopefully he can at least fulfill his 2-year deal. And I know he goes there because, believe it or not, as long as Adam's been around, AEW has many, many wrestlers that he's never wrestled before. So he's going there with hopes of wrestling them. Hopefully he'll get to. I've always been a big fan of Adam Copeland, but I just don't know if he'll be able to fulfill this 2-year contract in a healthy way. I know 50 years old is not old by any stretch of the imagination, but when it's somebody like Adam that's had a history of health issues, you have to wonder, can he stay healthy? Some guys are like Sting, and they're in their 60s and they're still wrestling fine. And then some guys, by the time they're 35, they're toast, because your body's not made to be a wrestler. And not everybody is tough enough to be a wrestler. I know he has hopes of fulfilling that 2-year deal, but you just don't know what your body is going to do. Look at Bryan Danielson. He's hurt all the time. He ain't near as old as Adam is. But hopefully, since Adam had to retire for that long period of time, it saved him some years of wrestling, and he'll be able to wrestle beyond that 2 years. But to me, ever since he came back a couple of years ago, I don't know how he feels, but he looks like he's about 117 years old. So hopefully he doesn't feel like that, but he looks 117. So maybe he doesn't feel like that and he still feels like he's 29. We will soon find out. But Sunday night was the AEW debut of the Rated R superstar, Adam Copeland. Any thoughts on this? Please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Did you hear about the tree that got arrested? It was a stick-up. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.